welcome to QI for a show that's all about insects and other invertebrates. Let me introduce our completely spineless panel. Busy as a bee, Jimmy Carr. Snug as a bug, Sarah Millican. Knee-high to a grasshopper, Johnny Vegas. And banging his head fruitlessly against a window, Alan Davis. So, before we begin, we should hear your buzzes, Jimmy goes. Oh, it's annoying. Sarah goes. Oh. Johnny goes. And Alan goes. Now, don't forget, there are some questions to which nobody knows the answer.
Nobody knows.
That's right, and if you play your nobody knows joker to a question to which nobody knows the answer, you get extra points. If you use it the wrong time, you're going to look like a bit of a tit. So, question one.
Right.
What's the point?
What do bees do better than dogs? Yes, Jimmy.
Make honey?
That's probably true, I have to say.
Probably true.
Yeah.
You're giving me probably on making honey. OK, fine, if that's the way you want to play it.
I'll give you that one. But
Thank you very much. I'm currently in the lead.
yeah.
They're better at sneaking up on you than dogs are. Like, you would never know if a bee had sniffed your crotch, would you?
Well, you might not. There'd be a buzzing noise, but oddly enough, you've used a word in there.
Is it crotch?
No.
Sniffing.
Sniffing. Sniffing. We use dogs to sniff in customs and for security.
Sniffer bees.
For explosives and for drugs. And do you know what? It takes a dog about 3 months at least to be trained to be a sniffer dog. It takes a bee 10 minutes. All you have to do is put it in a box, all right, add the smell and some sugar simultaneously, do that a few times, and it will instantly associate that smell with sugar and a reward. And then next time it comes across that smell, its proboscis will come out, and if you set it all up right, it will cause an alarm.
So why aren't we in airports killing bees then?
It's beginning to happen.
Unless
Is it?
drug dealers had an allergy to stings, I can't see them being pinned up against the wall by a policeman. with a bee on a bit of kite, you know, like kite twine.
There's a company called Insentinel which has developed this, and it is beginning to be used by the military and by airports and by various others. You pop a bee in a little box and you train it.
That's not a little box, that's like the worst rucksack ever invented.
What if they like savoury stuff? You know, what if they just haven't got much of a sweet tooth?
The great thing about bees is they only like sugar. But I admit, there may be a rogue bee that likes meat or salami, and that would be useless.
Pasties.
Pasties, for
Then
example.
he wouldn't be able to do that as a job.
Cornish bee, yeah. You shove a few in a box, and then you waft them near the thing that you want to check. There it is.
Well, it's not a bad idea, because that was always the old joke about the best way to smuggle drugs would be, obviously, in a dog's bum. Because when the sniffer dogs come through... as soon as the dog goes, you just go, come here, you naughty little thing. Whereas with bees, how much could you get in a bee's bum? Very little.
Very little.
My dad once punched a bee.
Punched a bee?
Yeah, it sort of went for him, and it was huge, so he just punched it. So, you know, we said it was like a velvet tennis ball.
It's a rather beautiful phrase. Velvet tennis balls of the sky.
I like that he was thinking of such poetic things while he was punching a bee.
And bees are valuable, and as we know, they're in trouble. There seems to be this...
That
thing
one
called-
was.
Well, yeah, I'm going to offer you a reward. I've got a plate here of insect-related foods, Sarah, and you can choose your reward. This is a lolly, which has got ants in it. This is a scorpion brittle, I love, like a peanut brittle, only it's got a scorpion in it, and if you can see it. Or just some dried bugs here. Is that one of those?
And where's the treat part?
Chocolate ant. Would you like a chocolate ant?
I'll suck it.
Would you like?
No.
Not at all. Are you going to risk any one of these?
I'll have a look at them.
If
but
I
I'm
had a
not gonna-
chocolate ant, would you have one?
I'll let you go
Okay,
first. Yeah, I'm not really bothered, to be honest with you.
You made me eat it. Well, I want more bravery because these are treats.
I
You know
don't
what?
even eat brown bread. You kind of give things like that to us.
Yeah.
You think of brown bread as being some sort of strange life form that's
Well,
a bit...
yeah, it's unnecessary.
If that's a new range you picked and mixed, no wonder Woolies went under.
Well, do you know, the thing is, it may well be the world is going to turn towards this kind of food because 2.5 billion of the world's population already regularly eat insects.
Is that just by mistake when you're on a bike?
These are treats. And it may well be that it will solve the problem. By the year 2030, they reckon there will be such a shortage of protein on the planet that there will be a genuine problem of starvation. There's already a problem of starvation on the planet, as we know, but that it will multiply enormously as the population increases. And insects and other invertebrates may be the answer.
Spiders, genius, isn't it? Because they're like chicken legs, but they've got loads of them.
Yeah. But what do you think are the advantages of eating and breeding insects for food?
You get to pretend to be a giant. A giant of commerce. And you can train them all to come and exercise in the morning in front of you and get them to build tiny cars.
Well, there is that.
And I say, call me Johnny Nissan.
That is
In the
advantage.
wild, when they lay eggs, they lay billions of
Well,
eggs,
that's
don't
right.
they? But
Their
only
breeding
a few of them
cycle.
survive. But if you've got them in it, you can have all billion of them.
Yeah, exactly. And they need far less feed than cattle. They produce far less noxious gas than cattle.
Yeah, how would you contain insect equivalent of foot and mouth?
That would be a problem.
Have you
in a
been there to
sense-
fly? Yes. Leave the airport.
If you're trying to sort of get this as an idea, you know,
Yeah.
this could solve starvation, could you maybe pick a picture of a guy that looks less nuts? If you're trying to market it, because if he's meant to be Captain Birdseye of the insect world, he couldn't look any creepier.
He looks as if he's auditioning to play the Master in the original Doctor Who, doesn't he?
Even the frame of the picture looks like you're about to black out.
Another spider.
They're good for you. Oh, my vocal cords are swelling up.
But there is no reason not to eat them.
I expect you to die, Mr. Bond. Sorry.
Shrimp is essentially, it's the same thing, isn't it? It's just in the sea.
We eat
That
shrimp
was on
if it-
land.
Exactly.
You'd go, well, that's, they are delicious.
We eat shrimp if there's a special on at Iceland.
Okay. Take a moment.
How's that?
Oh, no, they're delicious. They can solve the problems of starvation by killing us all.
I have got a problem in my throat, I will give
Look
you.
at that man looming over you, going, at last! I got you,
dear.
Fry.
Maybe that was a
There's one
mistake.
brave ant. What we're going to do, we're going to cover you in chocolate. We're going to put you in front of Stephen Fry. You're going to go down there, you're going to sort things out.
Once you're
laughed at
inside,
my-
release it.
I've
Well,
eaten those. They've got a terrible bitter aftertaste. The smoked insects, the little ants. I had them at Bug World in Liverpool.
Were you supposed to eat them? Because isn't that
No,
like a zoo?
you can eat them at the end.
Just, yeah, exactly. Is it shut now? Because you ate everything.
Well, that giant snail was a mistake. It looked like a burger. You're offered a bit at the end, but then you're not meant to go on to Friends and go back and break all the other...
With a different hat on every time.
Yeah, like a zoo where there's a buffet on the way out. Panda burger, anyone?
You've got the Natural History Museum just lifting the cases.
I've also got acid reflux, I have to say. One little ant, here am I supposed to be advertising it as the future of humanity, and I have to say...
We've got some way
I
to
feel
go.
like shit at the moment. This is really... It has not gone damn well.
The meat marketing board are watching this and go, die! Die!
Talking of bees and dogs, though,
I've been told
do you
of it.
know the premier site on the internet for dogs that are dressed as bees? Do you know? It's
The best one.
Yeah, the
my
best
favourite
one.
or the most
Yeah.
popular
the
one?
most... It's bedogs.com.
Can you imagine a bee flying back and going, I found the queen! I found the mother of all queens!
I've got a little extra question for you. I was going to offer you a reward of a chocolate ant, but I just suspect there'll be no takers. I think I've got a little leg stuck between my teeth. There are 6 to get
Hundreds
stuck.
of ants coming across the studio floor.
How can you tell if your dog has a guilty conscience? Is there a particular... Oh, look at that boxer.
Your slippers are full.
Your slippers are full.
Just trying to put it in a nice way.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you're saying.
I think they go in the opposite direction. What a dog does with a guilty conscience is make a massive fuss of you.
Ah, that's a very
More than
interesting-
usual.
So to try and make you love it and to make up for
I
yeah.
thought that was husbands.
When you say a guilty conscience, do they have a I mean, do
Well,
they
that's
feel...
the point. The answer should have been nobody knows. That people who own dogs think they can recognise a guilty look in their dog, but in fact they've done a number of tests in which they have told their owner their dog's done this particular thing, and the owner has said, oh yes, that's its guilty look, I recognise that, and in fact it hasn't done anything wrong at all. It's all in the mind of the owner. I've still got a little scaly something in the back of my throat.
Oh, it's like...
Have a bit of scorpion brittle to
Oh.
take it away.
Take the edge off, yeah. I was so looking forward to being brave and butch and taking this insect. They're revolting.
So dogs don't have any
There it
sort
is.
of moral...
Oh, a little wing casing or something. Very unpleasant.
Plus, dogs can identify guilt in people.
Yes, can they? They probably can, can't they?
Yeah, they can. If you
Certainly
come
at
in-
airports, but bees are better at it.
Yes. That's very good. Now, why aren't there any vegan Venus flytraps? Yeah, Sarah.
Maybe there are, but people don't invite them round for dinner because it's too complicated.
That's a very good answer. Would you like a reward?
No, thank you.
Vegan.
Yes. I mean, or vegetarian. No, I'm not all right. Suppose a leaf fell in. Why don't they eat the leaf? Yeah,
Because hasn't it got to... Well, I had one of these when I was a kid. Hasn't it got to hit 2 of them within a certain time frame
absolutely
for it
right.
to go?
They have a sort of time system on these tiny hairs. You can see it here.
So you hit...
Poor little thing. And then it just does another movement and bang. And it is really...
Do you know what the coolest thing about them is? When that closes,
Yeah.
that bit there is the stomach.
Yeah.
It just closes really tight, and then that becomes the stomach.
And all
then
the
it-
digestive juices exactly absorb the poor little animal.
As a design fault, then, if you were one of those plants and you were starving, but you technically had a mouthful of lettuce,
Yes.
it would never know.
No.
It would starve to death
It would.
rather than eat a salad.
Exactly. Because the salad wouldn't move in the right way.
You have so much in common with these.
If you fell asleep next to one of them for long enough and it closed on your finger, would it be able to digest part of your finger?
I'm going to send you one, and you will do the experiment for us, and let us know. You could try a knob as well, it'd be funnier. Why not? In the cause of science. It would be a penis flytrap, then, wouldn't it? Well, we'll see.
Considering it.
There are other exciting ways of catching insects. You know the South American bolus, like a sling that you swing round like
Yeah.
There's a spider that does the same thing to catch insects, which is there, look at that. It's very clever. It swings this kind of...
That's not real, it's just a drawing.
I admit we don't actually have photo evidence.
Tell you why you don't have photo evidence, because you made it up. There's not even a good picture of a spider. That isn't even a good spider. That is like, there's a heart-shaped thing. You started off doing a heart, it's probably a love letter, and then you went, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put some legs on it.
I'm very sorry, but do look it up somewhere on the net. I'm sure you'll find a photograph of the bolus spider.
And he's doing this,
He
isn't
makes
he?
a sort of lasso.
He lassoes in the
Yeah.
insect, and then he does...
And he goes, he stuns it. That's right.